Hello everyone. After quite a long period of time, I am again making a video on astrology, and basically the time taken was quite a long because due to the fact that I am writing on astrology and you know uh, researching on astrology. That's out of my own passion, and also working on astrological horoscopes, and depending on the requests which I get, so it's very difficult to get a time to make a video. But today I thought of making one video on entrepreneurship, small business, and astrology. The reason why, because it is just out of my own conscience. The fact lies that so many people in the world are either they are looking for a job or searching for a job or doing a job and getting depressed and frustrated, and all these things are happening. The job market is also not a huge scope right now in this 21st century, because due to the fact that how many jobs you can create. I mean, the number of industries which are there all across the globe or across nations, there are not so many industries which are there basically. The industries are limited, the job market is saturated. Every year we find new students coming up from different universities and from different schools, colleges. They're all coming up with newer degrees. But where is the job? I mean, where is the job for all the people to be getting accommodated? So the fact lies that on one hand you have a rate of unemployment which is growing up, and and if you read any reports, you will find that the rate of unemployment is quite high. It might be a bit less in some nations, it might be more in other nations. So what is the solution to that? It's not about a solution, how you address that issue, but the fact lies that each one of us, every one of us, right now you are looking into this particular video, you know that you have a special talent. You have a talent. Every one of us in this world is born with some or the other talents. We are brought into this world with a particular notion, and there are a type of society which tells us that, see, you have to do this, you have to do that. And over the years, when you go through all these processes, you find that this talent which you have is not nurtured. It was an inborn talent and it is not nurtured. You are into a different field, and somehow that talent is never shown or proved to the world. So why not look into ourselves first to find out that what is our special talents. Somebody may be good in writing, somebody is good in singing, someone is a very good orator, somebody is a very good photographer, somebody is very good in cooking. I'll give an example of that also, when I into this conversation which I am having right now. So there are many people in the world who have great talents, but yet it is unexplored. And they unexplored, why? Because they doesn't have invested any time on it. So if you invest some part of your time into these this inner talents of yours, definitely, and you have passion into it, then definitely you are going to do something or prove to the world. You see, things cannot be done in one day. It's true that this is what I personally believe, that if you have a talent, if you are into something passionately, into something, definitely, if you wanted to make a business module out of it, you can make a business module. And it's not that you have to learn from anywhere. It automatically comes because you love the subject. If you are into photography, then definitely you can see that your photographs are liked by people. It's not about that liking of the people which makes you motivated. It's about the photograph and the way you take that photograph that makes you motivated. The other things, right, the people liking, whether they are liking your, photograph, your video, it doesn't matter to you, because ultimately you are doing it for your own passion. Ultimately you wanted to go ahead, do your own research, make your own, innovations into the things which you love to do, and then carry on into the world in making those things come true. So this is how, small things slowly take shape. Small dreams slowly, becomes famous. The things crosses boundaries, and this is called entrepreneurship, or a small business which starts with, goes on into a very big business later. So is business the solution for this unemployment? I'm not talking about a solution right now. I am talking about a way out which can help anyone in the world who are right now, thinking of looking for a job, applying for a job, getting frustrated that whether they're getting the calls or the interviews or not. This happens with everyone. But when you work on your talent, you are your own master. You are your own master, and you can do the things for what you were born. That's what your talents are. The thing is that you have to just look into those talents. What is exactly your talents say, and you can do the things for what you were born for. So now coming to astrology, because it's true that astrology has a lot of role to play in any forms of entrepreneurship ventures. That's what I research, reading into astrology over the years, reading books on Western astrologies, Indian astrology, and other astrology, seeing innumerable horoscopes of people. I find that everyone has the potential to become an entrepreneur. Every one of us. Now, whether you pursue our dream or whether you don't pursue our dream, it's up to us. Whether it becomes successful or it doesn't become successful, again, it is up to us. The reason being, when you see a horoscope chart, if we go for an Indian Vedic astrology, then everyone who is right now seeing the video and has some knowledge of astrology, they know that in the main chart, which is called the Ascendant D1 chart, you find that there are certain houses which are very important part, and those houses, some of the people who are into this field might say that these are not the good houses. Obviously they are also right in their point of view, but I beg to differ because I see it in a very different way. You see, you have a first house, you have a third house, you have a seventh house, you have a 12th house. Now it's often seen that these houses, which are generally said that among that the third house, the sixth house, the 12th house, they say that these are not the good houses. That's what they say, because the third house also has to do a lot of things. 12th house about expenditure and jail, imprisonment, all these things. These are all the things which are there. Yes, but let's see the positive side of it. The third house is about motivation, it's about inspiration, it's about your efforts. It's going to the world and saying, see, this is what I am. Look at me, this is what I am. So this is going to the world and saying that, see, I can do these things. So this is how you get motivated. So whether you have an afflicted chart of different planets or whether you have a lot of challenges in your chart, but the third house planet tells you that yes, you can do it. You can do it. Only thing is that you have the will. You should have that willpower to do it. So the third house is very important for me. I mean, when I see a chart, when I see any D1 horoscope chart, the first thing about this entrepreneurship business or anything, I see the third house. What is the planet that rules the third house? What are the things which inspires you? Because your third house is going to tell a lot of things about you. I'm not going into the divisional charts, and I'm not going into the details of what the other divisional charts says about you, and there are a lot of divisional charts. I'm not going into the Ashtakvarga of the systems and what are the planets, the strength, the Sadbala. I'm not going into anything of it. I'm just going into the fact that what is a simple thing is that what is your third house? Your third house tells you that whether you have the willpower, whether you have the positiveness inside you to go ahead. What is the thing which inspires you? Now, if you go to the seventh house, the seventh house is quite different. It's wonderful, Every house has its own importance. The seventh house has to do a lot of things about the relationships. Now, if you look into the seventh house, then you will find that it's not only about your relationships. Relationships can be of any kind. It can be a friend relationships, it can be a family relationship, it can be legal relationships, it can be business relationships. So when you are into business, you have to have certain kind of relationship with your clients. What is that relationship? With your business partner. What is that relationship? What exactly it tells about? It tells that somebody is buying your product just because of the fact that they are in relation with that product. So if you by that I mean that if somebody comes and likes your approach, or somebody comes and likes your product the way it is, they actually will come again to buy that product, right? So they form a relationships. So if you take in that way, then again your third house comes into effect. Why? Because third house is also about communication. How you communicate. What exactly you are trying to communicate. Now the thing lies, in business, there are many people who sees that, okay, somebody is very good in that venture, so I have to go and jump into that venture. That doesn't work out because the communication, this is the third house comes in, because the communication when you make has also to fulfill your passion. So you don't have that passion, the communication will not be in the same way in which you generally communicate, if you don't have a passion on that. So you see, every houses are very important. Now the reason being, I'll come to the other house, that is the 12th house. Now if you see the 12th house, you will find that the 12th house is all about your expenditures. They will say that it's about something in which the expenditure takes place, something in which it's about the isolation and all those things. But come to a point, what is expenditure? It is something which you do to get something, right? Obviously, you are making an expenditure. So when you invest on your dream and do some expenditure on it, definitely you are going to get the success. At least if you don't get success, at least you will be at somewhere. 12th house also says about somewhere which is outside, some place which is alien to you and which is not known to you. That means something on foreign lands. So if something has to cross the boundaries, it is the 12th house which comes into the effect. So you see, all these houses are interconnected. Whether you say the first house, whether you say the second house, whether the third house, fourth house, fifth house, sixth house, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, all the houses are connected in one way or the other. And they are all positives, there are houses which are all give certain positive aspect to it. It's all not negative, There are things which, everything has a good and bad aspect of it. But definitely let's not look at the bad aspect or something about it. Let's look at the positive side of it. If you go into the business, then definitely these are the houses which becomes very important. So the 4th house being second from the 3rd house becomes important. The 8th house being second from the 7th being important. And the 1st house being second from the 12th house becomes important. So, and what is the 1st house? The 1st was yourself, your appearance, your ego, the reason, the cause for which you are existing in this world. So everything becomes important in astrology. So I don't feel, this is totally what I personally believe, and it may not match with any maybe with other astrologers or fortune tellers or people who are researching in that. This is what I personally believe, that yes, everyone has the ability to become an entrepreneur if you can follow your passion for what you are born. The second thing what I find is that even the nakshatra systems, there are the nakshatras which are there, in each house, they also play a role, to understand or find out, that what exactly your business will be. Or if you look into if you go and look into the details of it, then it can tell you a lot about that. I'll not name, but I was reading one of the biggest entrepreneurs in the world who really made a difference, and by making fried chickens, and 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 I think everyone knows his name. So I was looking into the chart, from some of the astrological websites. I have just, from the date of birth, whatever I got, So I was trying to understand that why that person got a success into fried chicken. I mean, it can be something fried, potato. It can be something on fried, any other food items, which is vegetarian. Why this particular thing cross boundaries? So in that person's chart, I was looking into that, and I was finding out that that person has Mars in the 12th house in Jyeshtha nakshatra, and if you go into the details of that nakshatra, you will find that it is in somewhere in Pada 4. So if you go into, the nakshatras are also divided into that. And his 7th house from the ascendant in the D1 chart, and the 10th house were ruled by Mercury. Mercury was also sitting in the Hasta nakshatra, and what I found was that, yes, going into the details, I assumed that would be into something in the restaurants, something to do with food, But crossing boundaries, I told you that the 12th house comes into effects. When anything crosses boundaries, your name and fame crosses boundaries. So when he started doing this business, initially he didn't have that, it might be in his inner soul which is going on that, yes, I have to make that, but maybe, there were times when he couldn't do it. But when he started it, slowly and slowly, it gained momentum and he became renowned in the world. So that point of time, I was seeing those years and trying to find it out that what exactly made him famous. I got to the point that yes, something to do with food will make him famous all over the world. But I was not able to understand that point of time that why it was this fried chicken, why it was not something other vegetarian foods or any other types of foods. So I looked deep into these nakshatras and find out that the nakshatra where Mars being one of the fiery signs, and sitting in Scorpio, and into that Jyeshtha nakshatra in that particular pada, I found out that yes, that has to do with something with a non-vegetarian food. It cannot be vegetarian. So that gave me an answer. So I have also written an article, on this, on entrepreneurship article, the previous article, article 68, which I have uploaded in the website. So you can have a look into that. You can read that article. But definitely, so many things in your chart do help one to understand or predict that yes, this can be a particular entrepreneurship venture which can bring you success. But does astrology tells you that, or does your soul tells you that? Whatever will astrology predict or tell you, basically you have it into your inner soul. You wanted to do it, but some way it didn't happen because you didn't try. The challenges were many. So I told you that astrology is a wonderful it's a wonderful subject, going deep into the subject, going deep into each of these particular houses, the strength of those planets, the nakshatra systems, even understanding the divisional charts. It's really wonderful to go into it. But I feel personally that yes, things are not done in one day. If you have a talent that you can do this thing, I mean, something which serves higher good, and definitely I think you should you should try. You should just give a try. I mean, it's not just saying that leaving a job and doing the thing. No, I mean, you can just give a try. Who knows tomorrow that things become so big that your entrepreneurship ventures crosses continents, crosses boundaries. And it's not that you wanted to become or cross boundaries, your ventures, but if you're honest to your subject, if you're really honest in your views, and if you have a real passion to do something on the dreams, then I think you should invest on your dreams. That's what for today, and I really wanted to thank you all for watching and supporting. There are thousands of readers who reads my articles in my website. The link is given below, and I really wanted to thank all of you for being so supportive. And by any chance, if you like this video, which is a bit longer, I can understand, you can give a thumbs up. That would help me to get motivated about the cause which I am speaking, and you can also share. Thank you so much for listening. Thanks a lot.